With more, I want to turn to CTV News medical specialist Dr. Marla Shapiro. Good morning, Dr. Marla. What do you make of this pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine in the U.S.?
This is in response to what's being seen, similar to what we saw with AstraZeneca. So not a surprise to have a pause, even though these adverse events are extraordinarily rare, the same type of rare events that we saw with AstraZeneca. It means that we do have to stop, we do have to evaluate. Will this be the same type of approach that's been taken in Canada? Will the vaccine perhaps be limited to mid-fifth decade and older? We'll have to wait and see. But with any signaling, no matter how rare it is, the FDA and the CDC is going to do exactly what Health Canada did, what the European Union did when we had these same types of adverse events with the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Marla, all the cases were women. Are women more prone to blood clots than men?
So these are not your usual type of blood clots that we see. And it begs the question, is there something about the vaccine that is prompting the immune system in very rare situations to cause these unusual blood clots? We don't know the answer to that, but we have seen it in a younger age group. It means that we can be aware of the possible adverse event between day 6 to 13, somewhere around there, to be looking out for it and to understand that these are treated not the traditional way that other blood clots are. So all growing emerging science that's better preparing us to decide who gets the vaccine and what do we do if we see this adverse event.
Canada is soon set to receive its own doses of the J&J vaccine. With this news today, does it concern you that this could add to the vaccine hesitancy out there in the country?
Of course, it adds to vaccine hesitancy. Anytime, even though there's a very rare adverse event, it needs to be put into context so that individuals understand that we're weighing the risk versus the benefit of getting the vaccine with this very rare event versus the risk of getting COVID and even dying from COVID. And we're in the middle of a third wave. We've now passed our case per individuals in Canada over the United States. Clearly getting a vaccine is critical. So we have to be very clear about the communication, very transparent, and that's why we do have a pause, because we do need to investigate and make sure that we're giving the right vaccine to the right age group and looking out for these very rare adverse events.
Dr. Marla, should women who are concerned about blood clotting, who've already had the AstraZeneca vaccine, talk to their doctor about taking aspirin?
So there's absolutely no evidence that taking an aspirin is going to make a difference in terms of preventing these very rare events that consume platelets and then have these very rare blood clots, not the typical same type of blood clot that one sees. The same way that if you're talking about regular blood clots, should you take an aspirin when you go on an airplane? The answer is no. And we looked at Thrombosis Canada, who has still had the statement as far as AstraZeneca is concerned that they are not advising that anyone who is at high risk or does have an issue avoid the vaccine. Talk to your physician about it, talk about your alternatives. But again, we're weighing the risk versus the benefit of getting a vaccine with the raging numbers that we're seeing in our third wave right now.
And let's talk about that third wave and the battle against it and the race to get as many people vaccinated pretty much everywhere on the planet as soon as possible. We're now learning in the U.S. experts are considering delaying the second dose like we're doing here in Canada. What are your thoughts on that?
So an article published today in the New York Times talked about how do you get more vaccines into the arms of Americans, talking about doing the same type of longer interval dosing that we've done in Canada, that you've seen in Britain. Quebec and BC were among the first to do this, and then the rest of Canada. So it does speak to the fact that when we've got a raging, third wave going on and numbers that are very high, we want to get that first vaccine with good protection into as many arms as we can and, lengthen that interval to a safe second interval to then give the boosting immunity. So not surprised to see this. They've got 300 million to vaccinate. We've got 30 million to vaccinate. Getting vaccines into the arms of everybody, those first shots, is critical. So we'll have to see what they decide to do.
Okay, Dr. Marla, great stuff as always. Thank you so much. Good to see you, and we'll talk to you again next week.